The holiday season likely means holiday family visits, and that can be joyous or cause a little bit of stress, maybe a lot of stress. I speak with a local therapist about how you can be prepared, which might include important discussions about setting boundaries.
It's kind of the unspoken word. We don't talk politics. We don't talk Redskins. We don't talk Cowboys.
It's that time of year.
Don't talk about parenting styles.
For family get-togethers, but should certain topics be off limits? How do you handle it?
No topics off limit in my family.
Previous, I think, to my generation, boundaries were no such thing. So it's been an interesting ride setting them, but we've definitely got them in place.
That's a great idea for many families, says Michael Scott, a licensed professional counselor with ThriveWorks.
I would lean into any opportunity to clearly state boundaries and to define expectations. I believe that communicating them in advance, and I'm a proponent for scheduling it.
But with adults who are like, I'm grown. I mean, how are you going to tell me what I can and can't talk about? How do you have that thorny conversation with maybe your parents that are visiting or older siblings?
Well, I think telling anyone what they can and can't do is often not going to be met with receptiveness. And boundaries are not about telling someone else what they can and can't do. They're about acknowledging what you are willing to tolerate and accommodate in your presence. They're about the action you'll take on the heels of a push to your boundaries. They're about what you can control about yourself.
And Scott stresses in those pre-visit discussions, have an honest conversation about stuff you want to avoid.
There are topics that can create more tension. Politics and current events, certainly. Religion, certainly.
Some parents or family, they want to know anything from, when are we going to get some grandkids? Or when are you going to get married? Or are you still with this job?
Well, I'm also a proponent of practicing patience and tolerance and grace where possible, until that's no longer possible. I'd say it's helpful to have a handful of distraction phrases.
What do you mean, distraction phrases? Sure.
Phrases that we can use to redirect. Hey, we all know this is a bit heated, guys. Let's talk about this a little bit later after we've had some coffee.
And if things get overheated,
oftentimes it can be pulling for a quiet conversation or a private conversation with the offender or the person that's compromising the boundary.
What if that's your parent?
Yeah, and so doing so in a private way will have a greater effect than doing so in a public way. And I think it's probably also worth recognizing that often alcohol plays a role in our holiday events, and alcohol can exacerbate the intensity of emotion and argument and passion. And so managing and being aware of alcohol intake is worthwhile during the holiday season as well.
You can limit, not having an unlimited supply of alcohol in your home.
And you can limit what you drink, which allows you to have some ability to maintain your boundaries.
If you think about it, what this therapist is saying, don't just have these conversations around the holiday seasons, but year-round in our efforts to keep the peace with the people we love. Kurt Williams, News 3.